million Australian adults are living with depression at the moment. They might be getting counselling or be on medication, but can a change in diet also be a big help?
Well, certain foods have been shown to have an effect on mood. So what simple diet changes can you make to help with depression? Well, author Dr. Sandra Cabot is here to take us through them. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning.
Now, first of all, you're going to talk about some of the foods that we should add to our diet.
Yes.
So let's just run through those. You've got fish oil as one of them.
Yeah. Well, Mel, people often don't eat enough fat for their brain, right? So I like to compare the brain to a computer. You've got the hardware, which is the physical structure of the brain, and then you've got the software, which is the chemicals that the brain actually makes. So for both those things to be happening at peak performance, you need to feed the brain right, you need to feed the computer. And a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Okay.
You know? So when we think about the brain, it's largely composed of fat. So your brain's just a bag of fat. So we need to eat the right type of fat. So you've got oily fish, you've got fish oil. Also, the brain needs some saturated fat. So cheese and eggs. Eggs are fantastic for the brain. They've got all the right fats and they've got the right proteins. So, you know, having eggs for breakfast would be a great way to cheer yourself up, for example, instead of having a sugary breakfast with a lot of bread or cereal. The other thing I think that's fascinating is the brain makes its own happy chemicals like serotonin and dopamine, and to make those chemicals it needs protein, which it breaks down into amino acids. Now, a lot of people don't eat enough protein regularly. So eggs have got a lot of protein, so is cheese, lean meat. And some people actually benefit a lot by taking an amino acid supplement. So there's different ones, like tyrosine or tryptophan, which can really help to build up your happy chemicals if you find that perhaps you're not eating enough protein. And the other thing...
and why have you... I was going to ask, why have you got fruit there as well?
Well, fruit is really important, and so is the green leafy stuff, because you need to be able to turn the protein into happy chemicals by all these, you know, complicated chemical processes, and you need folic acid and magnesium and B vitamins to do that. So the fruit and vegetables are full of those things. You know, and if you don't like eating all this Bugs Bunny food, one thing you can do is juice. Do some raw juicing. Sure, you can take a multivitamin as well, and I think it's really good value with the folic acid and the B vitamins and magnesium. You know, for people who suffer with anxiety or panic attacks, they can't sleep at night, they're like on a coat hanger, you know, they're so stressed out. Often they're magnesium deficient, and you give them a magnesium supplement and they just calm down, they sleep properly, their tension headaches go away. So often very simple things like that. And what I've got in my book here, it's a new book, Help for Depression and Anxiety. I mention all these things. It's very practical. And I also mention hormones. I don't know if I've got time just to tell you a little story, have I? But, you know, I go down to the South Coast. I have a practice down there. And a lady came to see me down there, and she sat in the chair, and I said, well, dear, what are you here for today to see me? She said, I am sick of lying in bed at night and thinking of different ways to kill my husband. And I was shocked. I'm not a psychiatrist, right? I work as a GP. I said, oh, that's terrible. And then I took a history, and it became obvious that even though she was a relatively young woman in her 30s, she wasn't menstruating regularly. And so she had this common hormonal imbalance called polycystic ovarian syndrome, where she wasn't making the hormone progesterone. Progesterone is a very important hormone for female well-being. It's a happy hormone. And we put her on a natural progesterone cream, just a simple cream that you rub into your skin. And you know, within a week, she rang me up and she said, I can't believe it. I don't longer...
that's fantastic.
I now want to
happy with
kiss
hubby.
my husband in the morning.
Lucky for him.
So, yeah.
And of course, yeah, good, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And of course, on this side, all the things you should avoid.
In excess. We don't want to be party poopers, you've got to have fun,
sugar.
right?
Okay.
But don't have too much sugar. It can make you very depressed. Eat more protein, you'll find you cheer up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Our vegetable omelettes of a morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
So
You
we'll
do the
the
right
trick.
thing. They've got
we're doing
spinach,
the
they've
right
got
thing.
eggs.
Thank you, Sandra, for that.
Fantastic.
If you'd
And
like to know
coming in.
more, Sandra's book, Help for Depression and Anxiety, is out now. Details are on our website.